To do a full power turn, the first thing you have to realize is the bike has to be leaned and leaned as much as absolutely possible. The bigger the bike, the more difficult this is to do until you can do a slide turn and then transition. The most effective way to pivot turn an adventure bike is to not do it from the saddle, to get off the bike. This way you can get more lean on that motorcycle by putting it into your hip and by bracing with that outside leg. This also allows you to get a little bit of push on that back wheel to get the bike to spin out. So having that bike where you can get it down and put it into your hip, so it's just resting, you're not actually holding it with your hands, but you just tuck it into your hip here, is a much more effective way to do this. What I do is I use the back side of my leg, and then I can let the bike lean in so that it leverages against that leg, and then I use my upper arm just to kind of hold the bike. Now when I say lean the motorcycle, I don't mean just a little bit off center. I want you to see that motorcycle lean as far as absolutely possible. The farther it leans, the more effective you're going to be. Now the farther forward I can get my leg, the better. If this was a dirt bike, I'd have it all the way by the front axle, but because we're on an adventure bike and these things are way heavy, I'm gonna let this lean all the way down underneath me. Once I start the bike up, I wanna add a lot more rev than I think I need. I'll look over my left shoulder, I'll pop the clutch. One of the most difficult things to retrain yourself to do is to put the heavy revs on the bike and to throw the clutch. Not to ease it out, not to slowly break traction, but you need to quickly overwhelm traction so you can create wheel spin so the bike will actually pivot. You really have to let that clutch go with a lot more revs than you think you need. Once that bike pivots as far as it wants to go, then you want to pull that clutch back in to regain control of the motorcycle, and then you can gradually just drive away. Start with a 90-degree turn or less, and then slowly you can work up to something larger like 180. So I'm 2 fingers on the clutch, bike is leaning underneath me, I look over the shoulder, and then once that bike pivots, then I pull the clutch in and I regain control, so I ride off in a controlled position.